Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 219 of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, aka the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. Here I am, popping my collar circa 2007, listening to some of the used Thursday Story of the Year, Taking Back Sunday. Tell all your friends. What a great tune that was by Taking Back Sunday. Was that a song or an album? I believe it was both. I don't like when bands name an album after a song that's on the album. The way I view that is you love that one song more than all the other songs on the album. And you're telling your fans or the listeners of your album that one song that you named the album after is more important than all the other songs. So why are you listening to the other 12 songs on the album? But that's neither here nor there, whatever that phrase means. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to bring this topic up. And the reason why is because my sister doesn't like when I bring this topic up, because she is a teacher and she doesn't engage in this activity. But I keep seeing these headlines. And maybe just because I click on one and the algorithm keeps feeding me more. But I think we're all getting these headlines. And it's gotten to the point where I have to pose the question that I didn't want to ask, but it needs to be asked. So I'm the B-Man and I'm going to do the asking. And the question is that I have for all 8 or 12 viewers and or listeners of you here at Verbal Graffiti is this. Are public school teachers making a run at the Catholic Church for the number one spot in engaging in inappropriate, illegal relationships with minors? I'm merely asking the question. And my inclination is to say yes. Obviously, throughout history, I do think the Catholic Church, if we're just pure numbers, has the number one spot. But in current times, 21st century, a lot of female teachers be getting with their students, especially high school teachers, getting with their 15, 16-year-old students. And I'm reading the headlines, and I'm not here to judge. As we know here at Verbal Graffiti, I am pro loving relationship between teacher and student. That's legal, of age. If your student's 18, you should be allowed to engage in sex with that student if it is consensual. Honestly, what's the point of becoming that is the reason to become a professor in college. What's the point of going through all those years of education, of working on your thesis, of getting your PhD? What's the point of putting all that work into getting that PhD if you're not going to get some hot co-ed during open hours, office hours during the week? That's why you get your PhD. Because you kind of like the kink of a professor co-ed relationship. Now, the relationship I'm talking about here, more specifically, is illegal in most states. Now, in Connecticut and New York, the legal age is 17. So if your students are 17, if you're a teacher, a high school teacher, and your student's 17, you should be allowed to have sex with that student if it is consensual. Of course, everything here has to be consensual. But under 17, or more specifically 18, that's illegal. You should have to do some prison time. If you're going to get the teenage dick, you got to do the prison time. That whatever the state says you have to do for that. But I'm asked the question because we've all seen these headlines where these teachers, female teachers, they're having shindigs. They're getting shaggy with all these high school boys. And I'm not going to point my finger at them because who are we? Who are we to blame the female, the babe teacher for having sex with one of her students? Now, yes, it's against the law. All right, and she's risking it all for that teenage dick. For that dick that can go multiple rounds in one evening, in one parking lot, in one back seat. Because he probably doesn't have a house. If you're a teenage boy, you probably don't have a house. I'm 41. I don't have a house. How is a teenage boy going to have a house? That's his own and not his parents. But when you look at the situation from afar, you take away your emotions, take away the law, take away your morality, and just look at it. Female teacher, of age, adult, underage teenage boy. On the surface, you say, absolutely not. That's disgusting. The fact that she even thought about engaging with that teenage boy and actually going through with it, throw away the key, lock her up for a long time in maximum security prison. I'm here. I'm not judging either of them, and especially not the teacher, because we don't know who. All we know about the teenage boy is that he's a teenage boy. But he's more than a teenage boy. He's a person with feelings, emotions, with a brain, with accomplishments. And we don't know what his accomplishments are. We don't. I'm asking the question. Hypothetical here. That's what we do here at Verbal Graffiti. Satire and hypotheticals. But let's say you read a headline, in which we all have, female babe teacher, you see the hot mugshot, had sex with one of her students. Boy, teenage boy, coming of age boy. And we laugh, we giggle. But we don't know who he is. What if he's a stellar student, has a 3.8 GPA? He's a member of the National Honor Society. He's the co-captain of the swim team, a member of the Italian club, does community service, has a partial scholarship to NYU this coming fall semester. He's popular. Everybody loves him. He's got dimples. How can you reject dimples, especially with a 3.8 GPA? What I'm getting at, this is a boy, and he has a six-pack. He's muscular. He works out every day. He's a swimmer. He's got that swimmer built to him. He's got the curly hair, the dimples, the blue eyes, the perfect skin, the personality to match. He's got it all. He's a boy with potential. He's going places, NYU, and they're paying for it. And he's a stellar student. And when you add that up, and he is every babe in the school, student that is, that desires, wants to be with this boy. And every boy in the school wants to be him. And when you add all that into the equation, and suddenly you read the headline teenage boy, but when he has all that to him, all those accomplishments, all the future that I just mentioned, let's say it's that boy. Can you really sit here with a straight face and point your finger at the female teacher and go, bad, bad? Now, yes, she has to go to prison because it is against the law. But if this is a straight A student, scholar athlete, popular, can you really blame her for what she did, for engaging in that illegal activity? Yes. Yes. By the letter of the law, what she did was illegal, and she has to pay the consequences for getting that teenage dick. Absolutely. Us here at Verbal Graffiti agree with you. But in the law of public opinion, it's not so cut and dry. Now add to the equation, let's say everything I just listed off about this teenager that the teacher got. Now let's look at her home life. Maybe she's 35. Let's say she's younger. Let's say she's 28. Her husband, she's married. He works for the Department of Transportation. It's a nice job. But that's all it is a nice job. Nothing to, fiddle your sniz to. Right? She pays half the mortgage. Right? The husband pays the other half. Who wants to fuck a guy? Who wants to fuck a person that you share the mortgage with? Is there anything that dries your pussy up more than that, than having to pay half the mortgage? I'm paying half the mortgage, and you want my sniz? Like, I got students at school with a 3.8 GPA. That's her life. She drives a mid-sized SUV. Huh? Toyota. It's used. It's 2016. She can't afford a new one. Hell, her husband can't even afford the mortgage. He's got a protruding belly. He's fit, but he's not teenager fit. And they've been married 5 years, and the lust is gone. She has a happy life, but there's no passion. Her husband snores. He wears a retainer. He has morning breath. He drinks a little too much on the weekend. He plays video games. He's there. He's present. But he doesn't give your pussy to feel. Your sniz doesn't get all lathered up for him anymore. I mean, you do the deed because you like the deed. Obviously, you fucked a teenage boy. You like the deed. But that's all it is. You like the deed with your husband. You don't love it. And when you add to that, plus the teenager and everything he has going for him, you're not going to see the B-man pointing at the female teacher for giving in to temptation, for committing a mortal sin. It's just something to make you think. Something to make you think. And who am I to be judging anybody? Who am I? The B-man. My mattress is on the floor. I sleep on a mattress that is on the floor. And when you sleep on a mattress that's on the floor, you're not in a position to be judging anybody and how he or she lives their life. So I'm not going to point my finger at a female teacher who gives in to temptation and fucks a teenager's dick. Not me. Now, again, she's got to do the time if she gets caught because there is the letter of the law. But public opinion, I'm not going to judge her. Because last night I was eating Ruffles potato chips without dip, straight out of the bag. I wasn't even putting in a bowl. I was just pulling. I was eating the potato chips. I know I shouldn't. I'm already balding. I struggle with the babes. It's been months since I've gotten my dick wet. Months. Haven't gotten my dick yet this year. Maybe I won't this year because I spend time alone eating Ruffles potato chips. And now I am. I'm skinny. I'm not heavy set, but the problem with being skinny, which there aren't many, is if you eat a little too much potato chips, just a little bit of belly. When you wear a tight shirt, which I like to wear tight-fitted clothing with popped collars, you can see a little bit of belly. 160 pounds, I'm fine. I'm flat. 167 pounds, you see that in my belly. And I'm eating my potato chips. And I know the wrinkles are there. I know the skin's not as firm. I know the balding, the receding hairline, it's more noticeable than it has been in years past. And it's only going to become more noticeable. And there I am eating Ruffles potato chips, hovering around that weight where I have a flat belly, but then a little bit of a show belly. And these Ruffles potato chips aren't going to help my cause. Who's going to want to fuck me? Not the female teachers. Nobody else out there. But I know I should stop eating these potato chips, because they're going to make me not as fuckable as I was this morning. But I eat them because I love the taste of Ruffles potato chips. The salt, the crunch, the potato. It's addicting. The chemicals they put in Ruffles potato chips are addicting. It's not natural. There's no natural flavors. It's all chemicals, and we love those chemicals. I love those chemicals. So I'm eating those potato chips. Think about what I'm going to talk about in this episode. No, I'm going to talk about female teachers, and I'm judging her and how disgusting she is and how she's immoral. But there I am. Crumbs on my t-shirt with holes in it. Eating on a mattress that's on the floor that I'm going to sleep in the next hour. I can't be I'm not in a position to be judging anybody. So if you're a female teacher and you're fucking your student, everyone else might be judging you. Everyone else might excommunicate you from their friend group, from their social group, from your school. You might be unemployable. You have to do prison time. But the B-man's not going to judge you because I get it. Now, the male teachers, no, absolutely not. The male teachers, you cannot be fucking the female students. It's much different that way. Now we could say it's the same, and they're both as bad. Not me. Male teachers, fucking female students is far graver and worse, and you should do more prison time than female teachers fucking their male students. That's me. That's my moral stance. You want to judge me for that? Go ahead. Personally, I judge myself more for eating potato chips alone at night past midnight. That's me. But I really do believe that public school, probably private. Actually, I grew up in the town I live in, Wallingford, Connecticut. There's a school, Choate Rosemary Hall. Private school, prep school. JFK went there. Some not Trump, maybe Trump's daughter went there. Some bigwigs went to this school and go to this school now. They got caught in the 70s. They got caught recently. The paperwork came out from the 70s that teachers were having sex with students, inappropriate relationships. So it's not just the public schools, but when you add in public, private schools, and the decline of the Catholic Church in the United States, I think it's probable that more teachers are molesting children than Catholic priests in the year 2026 in America. I do know my eyes. All right, well, and I know that because we all know somebody, or know somebody who's had sex with a teacher when they were in high school, or know somebody who had sex with a teacher when they were in high school. So that's, these are times we live in. Social media, vaping, alcohol. It's hard. It's hard for those female teachers. They just keep giving in to temptation. And I think it's time we start judging. Well, I'm not going to judge them, but society judges them as harshly as they do the Catholic Church. Shame. Shame. It really is such a shame. I love looking at those mugshots. I don't know what it is. Who doesn't love looking at the mugshot of a female teacher, a babe teacher? It's fun. All right, moving forward. This one comes from the subreddit Jealous as Fuck. Don't even breathe around another girl. Okay, so I'm literally jealous little bitch, like I have issues and I know it's not healthy, but no matter what I do, I can't seem to shake my jealousy in any relationship. I can't seem to shake my jealousy in any relationship. I repeated that, my apologies. So here we go again. I'm in a new relationship and I'm already starting to feel it. Like whenever he talks about his friends, that's a girl. Whenever he talks about a celebrity he finds attractive, it creates a visceral rage inside my bones that makes me want to punch something or scream or cry. Why you ask? I have issues, all capital letters. Like no other girl on planet Earth is allowed to be pretty, only me. That's kind of a psychotic though, and I realize that. So like WTF, what the fuck do I do? My favorite part about this post is when she wrote, "Here we go again." That made me giddy. That made my ball sack tingle. That made it move. That made Mr. Perfect move. When she made the statement, "Here we go again. I'm in a new relationship and it's happening all over again." That's a lady that knows she has issues. Obviously she does. And I'm here to tell you, don't try to change who you are. And I mean that. Take that to heart. Don't try to change who you are. This is who you are. You're a batshit crazy lady who cannot control her emotions when her boy toy looks or even mentions another lady, another babe. So don't try to suppress those emotions that your vagina are giving you. Don't try to suppress, embrace your craziness. Embrace the anger, the rage that you're feeling inside of your vagina. Don't try to suppress that. Let it out of you. Let it out of you. Be one with your craziness. Because you know this boy toy that you're with right now, he's not going to be the last. Right? You're going to break up with him. You're going to be the cause of the breakup, not his actions, your actions. But do know that there's going to be an endless supply of men willing to deal with your craziness to get with your sniz. Because we all hear that statement. Right? Don't dip your dick in crazy. The problem is the crazy is the funnest thing to stick your dick inside of. So there's going to be just a line of guys, right, who are going to see your past, see the wreckage. They're going to see the gun. They're going to see the gun holes in the wall in your apartment. They're going to see blood stains in the carpet. They're going to see punches through the wall, through the door, bathroom door. They're going to see shattered mirrors. Right? There's going to be DNA. There's going to be evidence of past relationships that have ended in violence and anger and strife. But they're not going to leave because you got the funnest vagina on the block. And guys will deal with a lot to get with your, because that's the most fun fuck there is the crazy vagina. And that's who you are. So do know, this won't be the last guy. All right? You're not going to be married once. That's not who you are. You are a multi-marriage babe because of your craziness. And you're going to be the one at fault for every breakup. Every divorce is going to be your fault, but there's always going to be a next guy. Because everybody, it's a bug. Your vagina is a bug zapper, all right, for our dicks. All right, you're going to wreck our lives, ruin our family, ruin the image we've built up for ourselves over the years, us Johns. You'll wreck that. You'll destroy us, make us outcast. But we're willing to go through it because that vagina is crazy. And you fuck crazier than any other babe on the block. So know who you are. And do not go to therapy. Or everybody else on the internet is going to say, oh, go see a therapist. Go to anger management classes. Bullshit. Don't do that. Don't listen to them. Listen to the B-Man. I say lean in to your rage. Lean in to your anger. What you should do, take MMA classes. Go to a boxing gym. Or go to a boxing gym. Go find an old trainer in the 70s whose face is half paralyzed, so you can't really open one eye because he's fought for 50 years. To let him teach you how to throw a real punch. And then go take some MMA classes and learn how to do strangleholds. I don't know, choke holds and all that, those MMA holds. Learn how to do those. Take the boxing, MMA, take it for a year. Take it seriously. And now your boy toy or whatever boy toy you have, after a year of training, when he leers at another lady that he thinks is more attractive than you, don't say anything. Hold the rage for just a moment. And then the next time you two engage in sex, you and your boy toy, that's when you let your MMA skills come out. Right? You let him get on top of you, then pull him in a triangle or a guillotine or an arm bar. What do you call that? Like the arm bar hold? Yeah, just get him in a triangle and choke him to death. Because a lot of crazy bitches out there will throw a steak knife or a ceramic pot or, throw a punch at a guy or throw his phone or kick him in the balls. But that's just another headline. Similar to a female teacher fucking her student, some teenage dick. It's just another headline. So, another one? Okay. Right? Another crazy bitch attacking her boyfriend for talking to another babe. Dime a dozen. All right, we see these stories every day, all day, morning, afternoon, night. But a crazy bitch who knows MMA and puts her boy toy in a guillotine and chokes him to death. That takes your crazy bitch psycho to a professionalism level, to a professional. You go from amateur to professional. Amateur anger to real anger that can really hurt somebody. That's what you do. And what I also suggest you do is you always have to be prepared to use your anger. How do you do that other than MMA and boxing? You, in your handbag at all times, if you're a crazy bitch, you should have, how should I say this? What do you need if you're a crazy bitch, you need to come prepared. So in your handbag at all times, you should have ninja stars, mace, a nip of tequila, latex gloves, an alibi, rubbing alcohol, a passport, a fake ID, a steak knife, a switchblade, and a mask. And be ready to use your craziness at any time. All right, put all those supplies in your fake Louis Vuitton knockoff bag. It is stuff your handbag with supplies. So when your boy toy steps out of pocket or even leers at another lady, take out your ninja star, slit his throat. All right? And then you got to have the passport to get away and do all that. You got to just lean into your craziness. Lean into your rage. Listen to your vagina. Don't suppress it. All right? Attack your man. Leave him with bruises. And honestly, your boy toy can go fuck off because he knows what he's into. Hey, when you're with a crazy bitch, you know. That's just part of the game. That's part of being with a crazy bitch is she might slit your throat with a ninja star. And you're willing to accept that because that vagina is worth having your throat slit by a ninja star. So your boy toy will understand. That's what you got to do. Just continue being a crazy bitch. But conversely, you got to accept the fact that you're never going to have a long-term relationship. All right? You're fireworks, baby. That's what you are. You're fireworks. But you're fun. And we like that here at Verbal Graffiti. We like fun. Let's go look at something. Having fun is what we're all about here at Verbal Graffiti. Don't take anything I say too seriously. But there is a smidgen of truth with all the things I do say. But again, don't take it seriously. Why did I tell you not to take it seriously twice? All right, moving forward. A couple nights ago, I was doing stand-up at a new venue. For stand-up, that is. I've never been to this place before. And one of my comedy buddies, we're pretty friendly. We were talking about the scene. Connecticut comedy. Yes, believe it or not, there is a stand-up comedy scene in Connecticut. Right now, there's ebbs and flows to it. And it's always going to be that way. At least I believe so, because we're so close to the sun. The sun being New York City, the mecca of stand-up comedy. So anytime anyone has an inkling of talent and or ability and has a little bit of a personality and really wants to make a go at it, they're going to move to New York City. I did twice. Failed twice. That's why I am a Connecticut comedian, because I'm not talented enough to be a New York City comedian. But yeah, so there's ebbs and flows. People come and go. And then come back, and some move away to New York or Austin or LA. And I have this sense, maybe the last 6 months, really maybe the last 4 months, the Connecticut scene's been in a bit of a lull, talent-wise and fun-wise. And I was talking about this with my comedy friend a couple nights ago at this venue. And I was saying, and that's partially the reason why I don't think it's as fun right now Hey, last year, this time, last summer was a super high. One of the highest moments I've been part of in the Connecticut comedy scene. And the reason being, there was a lot of cocaine use. Not me. I don't do cocaine yet. But there were also some babes. And when you put babes, cocaine, and comedy together, you get a high. It's a really fun time. And there were good vibes, before the lull. Before that hangover that people with cocaine get, but it was just fun. Every night we were going out to do stand-up. A lot of comics were just doing blow, and then there were a lot of hang-arounds. That just happens. When there's cocaine, women come around, the babes come around. So there were kind of these groupies, and they were sleeping with some of the comics, not me. I wasn't doing any of the cocaine or the babes, but I was getting a lot of stand-up, and people were double dipping, like doing comedy sets multiple times a night, and we were running around all these different venues in the same night. It was really fun. And maybe since it was the summertime, there was more comics coming out, more comics around. Maybe they were back from New York City, visiting home, so they were coming out. So like the Talented Comedian last year, and then all the hanger-arounds and the drug use, it made it a really fun scene. But the guy who sells the cocaine, he's not around as much anymore, and I don't think he sells cocaine anymore. He's more into thrift shopping now, so the drug use isn't as high. And I was talking to my friend, and I was saying, there really aren't that many babes doing comedy in Connecticut right now, or at least really hitting it hard with the open mics and local shows. And there's some, but some of them are lesbians and some of them aren't that attractive. But they are who they are, and good for them. But we don't really what really makes a scene pop is just having a couple hot babes in the scene, and not even to fuck, just to be around. Feminine energy is fun to be around. So, and we're kind of missing that right now in the Connecticut scene. And I was bemoaning this to my friend, comedy friend. I don't want to say his name because I don't know if he wants to be associated with this in a public forum on the internet. But and he told me, yeah, I hate the term chuckle fuckers, because we have had chuckle fuckers around the Connecticut scene where a comic would start dating a babe, and then the babe would bring her girlfriends around, and then they would give blowjobs to some of the other comics. So chuckle fucker adjacent, let's call these babes. And they've come and gone throughout the years, different chuckle fuckers, different groups of chuckle fuckers. But my comedian friend was telling me, who's also a comedian, I hate the term chuckle fucker. And I said, oh, that's odd. I thought that because he didn't strike me as a guy who would not. He doesn't get offended by terms or language, right? So, you don't like the term chuckle fuckers? That's kind of odd. He goes, no, I don't like it. I go, all right, well, I go, well, why is that? He goes, because they're whores. They're not chuckle fuckers. They're just whores. And it made me giggle. I go, he's fucking right. He's fucking right. And they're just whores. Whores who just like fucking guys who get on stage. Every type of artist or performer, what if you're an athlete, you're jersey chasers. I think hockey, they have their own term. But whatever thing you do, they're the babes who orbit around, and you have a nickname for the ones that fuck the type of artist you are, or athlete or performer. And, but comedy is chuckle fucker. But as my friend, comedian friend, so eloquently put, he goes, nah, they're just whores. And that's what we're missing in the Connecticut scene right now. There aren't, I won't even say there's not an abundance of whores. There's hardly any whores to go around. I call them chuckle fuckers. My friend calls them whores. I think my friend's he puts it more accurately. That's what the Connecticut scene is missing, more than the drugs, more than the good comedy. It's just a handful of whores that like having a good time, that like having fun with comedians. And that's what we're missing. I'm hoping we get it back, and it will come back. We're just in a lull. Every mic, every show I go to the last few months is the energy's dipped. Maybe it's the winter. Maybe it's the lack of horrors. So I'm hoping as the weather warms up and the seasons change, the horrors will come back. And hopefully they're different horrors from the past. So that's what I'm hoping for the Connecticut comedy scene in the near future. Moving forward. This next one comes from the subreddit. Yes, my light is on. Ask HS Teacher. I think that's Ask High School Teacher. Why don't you include regular subs in your celebrations and Christmas things? I am a teacher's wife and a substitute for an Illinois high school. 3 years now. And I have never been asked to join your lunch, potlucks, or sweets, Christmas parties. It really hurts. Well, it shouldn't hurt you. It does. Because you have a blind spot, miss. And your blind spot is that you think you're a faculty member, you're a member of the team, when you're not. You need to realize, you don't realize this, so let the B-Man tell you. And I do have experience with this. You might not know this if you haven't been a long-time viewer of Verbal Graffiti. I was a substitute teacher for nearly 4 years. All right. After college, I got a master's degree in education and history. My goal was to be a high school history teacher and do stand-up at night and then eventually make enough money doing stand-up to quit my teaching job. And the reason why I wanted to be a teacher is so I could have summers off. The sole reason. I just wanted to have summers off. I loved summer. I don't like working during the summer. That's why I'll be a teacher. That works out well for me. But I've been in schools, middle schools, high schools. Almost every day during the school year, I was a substitute teacher. Now, unlike you, I never viewed myself as a teacher. I was a day laborer. Nothing more, nothing less. Nobody respected me. Substitute teachers don't deserve respect. And honestly, you shouldn't be disrespected by that lack of respect as a substitute teacher, because you need to have a little bit of respect to be disrespected. But substitutes have no respect, therefore you cannot disrespect a substitute teacher. See, you're considering yourself part of the staff, but you're not. You're a day laborer. Nobody respects you, from the teachers to the principal to the administrators, and for damn sure, the students. Nobody respects you. They view you as a punchline to a joke, as you are. You're a substitute teacher. Nobody should be a substitute teacher for 3 years. I did it for nearly 4. You did it for 3. You should probably quit and find a real job, because being a substitute teacher is not a real job. And that's why you're not included in the emails, the potluck dinner, the Christmas events, the parties, the happy hours. You're not included in the emails and the group text and the contact between teachers, because they don't view you as a teacher. You're a substitute. Why would you be on the teacher email list? Hey, be quiet, shut the fuck up, get your $100, $150, however much you make as a substitute teacher per day these days, and get in, get out, don't cause a scene. But the more seriously you take yourself as a substitute teacher, the more ire you're going to get especially from the students and the staff. Just go in, give the students their assignment. If they ask to go to the bathroom, go ahead. Leave class for the next hour. And as long as there's no blood on the concrete in the classroom or when the students leave, you did your job as a substitute teacher. I remember a time I was in the lunchroom, eating my lunch, being quiet, not engaging in the teacher's conversation because I had enough self-awareness to know that I'm not part of them. The teachers, they have a real job. I do not. I'm a substitute. So I was eating my lunch in silence, listening, but not making eye contact to the teacher's conversation. And one of the female teachers got up and she was leaving to go back to her classroom. She looked at me and somehow a conversation started. She says, "Oh, what are you doing?" Whatever, just school talk. And, I told her, "I'm going to school to become a teacher, and taking night classes at the local college." And she goes, "Oh, man, I wish I was you. I wish I could be a substitute." And right away, I go to her, "Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, give me your salary, your benefits, your union protection, and your pension fund." And you know what she did? She shut the fuck up real quick, right? I was minding my own business. She came into my world, said she'd want my job. I go, "Oh, well, take my $75 a day and give me your salary." And I made her shut the fuck up. See, as a substitute, don't respect yourself. Be quiet, but don't allow yourself to be stepped over. But you're allowing yourself to be stepped over because you think you're more than you are. You're nothing. You're like I said, you're the punchline of everybody's joke. And that's why you shouldn't be a substitute for longer than 3 years. 2 years max. You substitute for 2 years and get out. Find another gig. All right? The janitor, the lunch ladies, the gym teachers, the hall monitors, the security guards, they all garner more respect than you do. And do know that your husband is embarrassed to be married to you, a substitute teacher. I don't know what you did before you got married or prior to your marriage, probably wasn't teaching. Your husband's not happy that you decided to substitute at the school he teaches at. Because we all know there are a few things more embarrassing than two teachers that marry each other. Especially when they're in the same school. Is there anything more ick than that? Two teachers in the same school being married to each other? Ugh, ick. And we all know it's okay to be a teacher as long as you marry somebody who makes good money. That's not a teacher. Especially if you're a babe teacher, that's the goal. Be a teacher, get your summers off, nice schedule every weekend, all the holidays, a week off for Christmas. Maybe you got to grade some papers and do all that jazz, but you get the summers off. So you marry a guy that makes a lot of money. That way you could drive the luxury vehicle to the school and make all the other female teachers jealous and the male staff. But it's okay. That's the goal. If you're going to be a teacher, it's okay as long as you marry somebody that makes more money than a teacher. That way, so therefore, you don't want... The big fuck up is not becoming a teacher. It's marrying another teacher. Two married teachers together, fucked up. You know what's more fucked up than marrying a teacher? Being married to a substitute teacher when you're a real teacher. No, he doesn't respect what you do for a living, and nor should he, because you're a substitute. And substitute teachers do not deserve the respect of anybody, a staff and or students. So he's embarrassed to be associated with you. He's embarrassed to be married to you. And, hey, you just got to leave. You got to find a real job. I don't know what skill set you have, but go work at a library. I don't know. Go hold up a cardboard sign at a four-way intersection asking for money. That would garner more respect than being a substitute teacher. But it's a dog shit gig. And sometimes, substitutes are needed, right? And we all need money. So if you're in that situation where you need money, become a substitute teacher, but do not consider it a real job. And don't be under any kind of illusion that you're part of the staff at that school, because you're not. You're an outsider. Right? And you'll never be in. You'll never be in the inner circle. You'll never be included in the potluck dinners or the happy hours on Thursday and Friday, because nobody wants to be associated with a substitute teacher. A substitute teacher is the definition of ick. Therefore, nobody wants to include you in any engagement. You got the ick. Go suck a fat one.